everybody. Welcome to Eden Fractal and Happy New Year to everybody out there. We're here at the 82nd Eden Fractal meeting, 20 months of Eden Fractal. I'm stoked to be here with Tadas and Eric and Rosmari. Thanks so much for being here. Hope that you all enjoyed your holidays. Hope you all enjoyed your break. Hope that everybody's watching has enjoyed their past year and all the times you spent with your family and friends, hopefully. Thanks for being here as always with Eden Fractal. We have an exciting year in the works and plans for you and an exciting event today too. So of course, Tadas, Rosemarie, Eric, if anyone wants to jump in and say hello or share any thoughts, then feel free to do so. If not, I also have a presentation ready and a new little game that we could play, and happy to jump into it now as well.
Okay, sounds good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right. So welcome back to Eden Fractal. Very happy to be back with my Eden Fractal friends. You can check out Eden Fractal at edenfractal.com, of course. I've made a couple updates to this website, which I'll share. Eden Fractal, if you're not familiar, it's a community that creates innovative game shows and tools. We recently came up with a new vision we worked on for the past like 5 weeks before we had met here. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And we also host weekly events to optimize decision making with fun consensus games. You can RSVP for our weekly events every Monday every Wednesday at 16 UTC. And we produce these videos too. So you can check out edenfractal.com to learn more about the videos and the tools that we create with great developers like Tadas and Vlad. So, of course, everybody here knows about it pretty well, so I won't go over too much. I wanted to once again wish everybody, I hope that everybody had a great time. We put out a tweet from the Optimistics account, which is composed of myself, Rosemarie, and Tadas and Vlad. And we put out this message inviting everyone to join Eden Fractal, as well as Optimism Fractal, with a little overview of Eden Fractal, as well as Optimism Fractal too. So in addition to Eden Fractal, we host Optimism Fractal every Monday at 17 UTC, and encourage people to join both these events and check out the tweet and learn more. We also post in a lot of Telegram groups too. And yeah, both these events provide a great way to network with talented innovators, experiment with decentralized governance, and earn respect for your contributions. And we're excited to grow up with very many Fractal communities this year, and would love to see you at our events. Eden Fractal, we've been collaborating here with community leaders for the past 20 months, as I said before, to pioneer fractal governance, consensus games, and coordination tools. And we're now experimenting with all sorts of new ways to help communities. In case you didn't catch the past couple months, we kind of changed up the format a little bit. Our meetings are 1 hour long now, and we propose our topics with agendas, which is basically we propose topics on Consortium to choose our topics each week, as opposed to just the traditional respect game every week. But we play the regular respect game at Optimus every week. You can join our events at lou.ma/edenfractal. Encourage you to join and invite your friends. And yeah, so I mentioned we came up with a vision, at least a vision for now. And so I wanted to say thank you and congratulations to Eric, who won the Vision Quest game that we proposed. The Vision Quest was kind of a wild experiment, but it was lots of fun. And we reached consensus on Eric's vision, and Eric became the lead visionary according to the game. The vision that Eric proposed that we reached consensus on was Eden Fractal believes that all communities and organizations should have the tools and methods to make the best decision making fair, fast, and fun. Of course, we can always change this to, I know Tadashi couldn't make that meeting, so if people have different ideas in the future, we can always propose different games to update our vision like we've done so far, but that's what we have right now, and I'm very excited to go with this vision. I really like it. I was thinking a lot over the break, and so I actually made a new website, or a new webpage, edenfractal.com/vision, which you saw briefly when I showed the homepage before, which is updated there. So there you could see the vision, as well as a little background about how we collaborated to create this vision over 6 meetings, and we formed consensus, and we actually created 3 new consensus games to determine this. So you can check out the table of contents, watch all the videos where we discuss the vision from the 38th meeting, and then from the 77th to 78th, 79th, and the 80th and 81st. We're still coming up with the thumbnails and so forth, but huge thanks to Rosemary for helping and putting together these thumbnails and beautiful text and so forth. And I encourage everybody to watch them and learn. And there's also, you can learn about the Respect games and the Upvote games. Thanks to Tadas for inventing this Upvote game, and thanks everybody for participating in these games. They were really exciting. So you can learn about the games we played there, as well as some attribution. So thanks everybody so much for that. And I'm very excited to go forward with this mission that we have, this vision. And of course, you can check out edenfractal.com/videos, or our YouTube channel, the Eden Creators YouTube channel, to see all the great videos that we've been making over the past 80 weeks or so now, and learn much more about what we're doing here at Eden Fractal. Lots of great shows, and hope you all enjoy them. So I mentioned before, we're going to play agenda. So basically, we determine the topics in this kind of democratic way, where we each decide, anybody can propose a topic. If you're out there and want to propose a topic and discuss something, feel free to make a topic on Consortium, or just put it in our Telegram group, and then we can help you make it. The topic I put up was to kick off the new year. I'd like to play a new game to figure out our next steps and actualize our vision. The game will start with a simple question: what are the next steps for Eden Fractal? And this next step games work similarly to a traditional respect game. Respect game being where we each take about 4 minutes to share how we contributed or share our thoughts about our next steps in this case, and we rank each other's contributions to the discussion throughout the hour-long meeting instead of our contributions over the past week. And then if we reach consensus in ranking each other's contributions to discussion, then we'll figure out, who helped figure out the next best steps the most, the second most, and so forth. And then if we can signal that on chain with all 4 of us before the game ends, then we'll each earn respect according to the rankings. So I ask, what do you think should be the next steps for Eden Fractal? I had some issues with Consortium, so I posted it, and you can see the blocks, the proposal on blocks right now. And of course, people can check out the tools that we use to play these games at edencreators.com/tools, and also optimistics.io/tools is a new place where you can learn about the respect game as well as see videos and tutorials. Also optimistics.io/respect game, where you can see the normal orientation for the respect game. But of course, at this time we'll be doing it differently. If that's good with everybody, and we'll be playing this game for the next steps for Eden Fractal. So of course, we could play casual too. I know it's our first time back, so if anybody has anything else in your mind, then feel free to bring it up. But I figured that this would be a fun game to play to, I suppose, get the creative juices rolling. And I'm excited to go forward with the vision, but now we need to figure out what are the next steps. We talked about mission, we talked about this, we talked about that. So yeah, the floor is open now. If anybody wants to share their thoughts in general, or we could start playing this game if everybody's up for it, and start talking about our next steps. And in which case, each of us would get about 4 minutes to share what we think the next step should be.
So I would just like to point out that although I won the vision game, that vision didn't just come from me. Actually, I think it started from Rosmari's vision, tweaked by Dan's vision, with us and other people. So I might have won that game, but we came up with this vision by using the power of everybody's genius.
Yep, that's true. And huge thanks. I don't know if I said it before, but huge thanks to everybody who contributed to our vision. Thanks so much, Rosmari and Tadas, as well as Vlad, too. It was mostly the 5 of us who were participating over the past 5 meetings and experimenting all these games. And we worked on it a lot over the past 5 weeks. Encourage everybody to watch the videos, as well as thanks to everybody who participated in Eden Fractal over the past year and a half, and especially a year since we first discussed our vision. There was like 20 people or so who helped discuss it earlier on. So thanks everybody so much, and thank you, Eric, for pulling us across the vision, the finish line with it, and come up with a great vision. I think it's very inspiring. Curious to hear everyone's thoughts. First off, is everybody cool? I know I put up that game for the next steps just shortly before the event. I was working a lot on that vision page and so forth like that, so I know there wasn't too much warning, and we probably didn't have much time to prepare for our next steps, so that's totally okay. If anybody had anything different in mind that you prefer to discuss, then happy to hear it. Feel free to jump in. But if everybody's cool with that game, well, was everybody cool with that game? You want to play the next game?
Yes.
The next steps game? Okay. Okay, cool. Rosmari, I saw you say something, but I didn't hear you.
Yes, let's play.
Okay, let's play. Let's do it. Okay, cool. Who wants to go first? I have a little bit written out, by the way, too. So if you want, I can lead it and just share my thoughts. I just wrote like a paragraph or two, so I don't know if it would take 4 minutes, but I can share my thoughts about the next steps first if you'd like, or if anybody wants to go first, then happy to hear it.
Well, using the kind of template from Simon Sinek's Start with Why, we kind of figured out the why. Took us a long time to get that why, but I think we have a good starting point. But the next thing down in Simon Sinek's is, so how do we do that? We know what we're trying to do, but what are the tasks that we do? I mean, one of them is, research and test tools or methodologies. There's a lot of things. We could interact with other groups. That could be the task we do to find out what they need. We could do certification. I mean, there's a lot of things we could do, but I think that's important that when someone gets our why in our vision, they go, okay, well, what should I do to achieve these things? So I think the mission is we achieve that vision by doing these things. So I think that is a great next step. The other great step is we were mentioning that book Decisive, and it talks about mistakes people make in decision making, like 4 or 5 of them, and then that'd be another thing to say, okay, well, how do we make sure that our methods don't make that mistake as we make decisions? So that's my thoughts. Could play the same game to come up with how as we came up with the why. Otherwise, we look at our processes and say, how can we do this without making the mistakes that we all make? That's it.
All right, very interesting. Thank you, Eric. Would you like to pass on to somebody to go next, or does anybody else want to volunteer to go next?
Sure, Rosmari, go.
We have 4 minutes. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Or
Okay, yeah, 4 minutes. I mean, feel free to go a little bit shorter or longer too if you want, but generally 4 minutes, yeah.
so this is the game, I see.
Yes.
Okay, so I agree with what Eric suggested with going off from the vision, and then each of us going in turns about how to get there. And I wasn't sure if this if now I have to kind of convince everyone, or this is my final answer, or just a suggestion how to go about doing it.
If you want, I can clarify the intention that I had for the game there.
Okay.
So basically, I was thinking, I mean, mostly just about having a good discussion, basically, and we all respect each other a lot too. So I wouldn't be too concerned about like the game and trying to win, because the overall game is just trying to contribute to discussion. But yeah, I figure that what we can do is at the end, after we each take our 4 minutes to share our thoughts, about the next steps for Eden Fractal, and then after we have maybe some open discussion, then we would play in Fractalgram, and we would just determine who contributed discussion most overall. And so that can include both your 4 minutes right here, as well as, you know, questions or comments afterwards, or following discussions, just say who helped us figure the next steps best, basically. Does that help answer and clarify for you?
Yes, although I don't know how deep I can go with the what to do next. Because it can be, it can have two, I guess, I can have two answers. One, more of just in the moment, what to do is probably, yeah, think about what methods do we want to utilize and to achieve that answer, and brainstorming on the methods that we have available. And then the more of the bigger picture answer would be probably would consist of like a group discussion on a more of a specific level after we decide on, let's say, maybe priorities. Following that first method, whatever method we choose, probably we'll come up with priorities or goals, and then we'll think about how to focus on them further. Tadas, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I can go. Yeah, so I think that we should develop a process where we play this kind of game, where we ask what to do next and try to answer that question. That we should play this regularly, test it and refine it. So in my eyes, what we have been doing over the last 5 or so meetings, or however many, where we play different games to figure out the vision. I think these kind of games can be used to answer other questions like a mission, or what lower level questions like how do we achieve a mission, like what tasks, what are our tasks, what are our priorities. I think we can develop games that are general enough to answer all of these questions. And I think our need for these kind of games won't end here, even after we answer the mission question or vision question. Therefore, I think, yeah, maybe I would just keep doing what we have been doing over the last few meetings. And so previously we were playing games to answer the vision. Maybe now let's try to answer the mission. But keep in mind that we are also developing these games which can be generalized. For other questions. Yeah, so that would be my idea. And I think it's pretty aligned with what Rosmari and Derek said.
Okay, great. Thanks, Tadas. And yeah, thanks, Rosmari and Eric too. I'm pretty aligned with that too. So it's nice to see we have a lot of uh, we have a lot of alignment in our next steps. We'll be quite coordinated, walking together. So my figuring for the next steps, one, I think that at a practical level, it probably makes sense to play a mission game soon after the vision. I think something we've discussed a lot in like probably 4 or 5 Eden Fractal meetings is our mission, and we've never come to consensus about it. And a lot of people have wondered, well, what's the mission? What are we doing, and so forth. And it's coming up a lot. We talked about vision is where you're going, and mission is how you get there. So that's kind of resonating with what Eric had said before about, well, first you have the why, and then you have the how. So, and I think on a practical level, like having a respect game for the mission is probably the best way to do that next. I agree we should also be innovating and like trying out these different kinds of games. And I think I'm really excited with this new vision. If anybody watches the video, I was kind of like in disagreement with Eric because I was like, decision making is too narrow and I thought it should be more wide. But then after I thought about it, I really appreciate it. And so I think that we can hone in on how we can both help ourselves make decisions and help all communities make decisions with these new kinds of consensus games. And so I'm really excited about how we can probably start with making that decision about what our mission is. Of course, these decisions can change with decisions later, but get a mission down there. And then we can iterate with other missions after with other kinds of respect games and consensus games after that, like how Tadas said about figuring out our tasks and our priorities and so forth. So I suppose like a mission game would be first, and like our priorities might be next, like the next week or next month or whatever. We play a respect game for priorities, and I would say the respect game is probably the best like core component to do so. I really like how we experimented with the warm upvote game. And I think that we could have. Oh, that's actually something as I was planning this, I meant to mention, but we could have like an upvote combined with the respect game, just like how the DOS proposed. But rather than it being 2 different times, they could be at the same time. So like anybody could upvote at any time. So that's one thing we could do. And then like the Vision Quest game overall, it was really exciting and it worked well in a lot of ways, but it also needs a lot of work too. It's kind of messy. So I'd like to experiment with other games like that too, as well as like visual games where we can see what's going on as well. So yeah, basically I'm in agreement with everybody. I'm agreeing with what Rosmari said about first brainstorming the methods and tools and then figuring out how to focus on them further. In accordance with that too, I think one of the things we should do at some point soon, and we're working on right now, we put out some messages, myself and Rosmari, to the Fractal communities like Fractally and I messaged the Fractal Joy network, which is where the Go Fractally site was, and so forth. And we also messaged the EOS community too. So, you know, in the past we had a lot more people at these events, and there's a lot of benefit to working in a smaller group like we have now. But there's also benefits and to having more people here. And so, in parallel, I think we should keep promoting it basically to attract more people to join and get involved. But also, it works well thinking about this as a small group as we're innovating. But yeah, I think that's something we should do in parallel while also taking care of some things that we need to take care of that I'm also going to take care of, like updating the MSIG finally and organizing and refining the website and stuff like that too. But would appreciate any help with anything like that. So that might have been a bit more than 4 minutes, but that's basically my answer to. So I suppose that now, I mean, we could start to reach consensus just based on that. But if anybody has any questions or comments or would like to contribute further to earn more respect, then now's a good time to do so.
Yeah, just want to add something to my idea. I think we should still be open to like proposing topics and just having free-form discussions on these topics in these meetings. Because I think that's we could use it to, for example, develop and prove these games and so on. And for example, I'm writing an article right now, which I try to share soon, which is it's about decision making for groups. And so I think it's very relevant for our plans here, and it might be useful to share it here and discuss it. So yeah, I think we should maybe keep our current process where we propose to make topic proposals on Consortium, and it could be play this game, or could be a topic proposal, could be a proposal to discuss something. So although I do think we should primarily play games, but be open to discussions as well.
Cool, good point. Yeah, well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing your article. Thanks for putting that together. And of course, curious to hear Eric and Rosmari's thoughts. I see they're both muted. One question I'd have there too is just like maybe it's always better when you play a game, because even when you play that game, like obviously you get the most respect for that probably, I think, if you wrote the article and you lead the discussion. So it provides you with a bit of like thanks and incentive to do that. And then it doesn't take so long at the end of the game to reach consensus on chain. Then you get all the benefits of like making an on-chain attestation, keeping the account active, giving more respect and so forth. So that's one thing I'd wonder. Like I'd still be up for it if you want to just propose a discussion without a game, but we do have the potential of a game. And with the respect game, like the way I designed this one, I designed it really quickly, and it was kind of inspired by the ones we did last year at the end of the year. But I think it's pretty lightweight. Like it doesn't add that much. Like we could probably come to consensus really quickly. I don't know how much value it adds compared to other respect games, but it's something worth considering. It might just, if you play a respect game for 5 minutes afterwards, it might just give everybody a little more extra incentive and excitement to play and engage as well, and make the conversations a little bit better.
Good point. I guess we could, like, this article I'm writing, it would be relevant in some of the questions, like below the mission question. So I could just present those ideas there and make it part of this game, respect game. Anyway.
Well, and I think one of the ways we can grow is inviting groups to come in and play a game with us, even if it's one time to figure out how we can help them. For example, if we asked Aqueduct to come in, or Uplift to come in, or somebody come in, and we play that game based on, how we can help them. And if some of them like it, they may say, oh, we want to join your group too.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that. But you were hosting the event every week, and we can invite friends. And it's not just like invite friends for, in general, that like everybody's always welcome to join, and we always say that, but have it like specifically oriented towards helping a specific group of people, and invite them to help. We can do kind of like some educational or interactive sessions with people.
Yeah, but it's more like we'd like you to play a game for us that helps us figure out how we can help you. Then they have a reason to play the game. You'll learn more about yourself and clarify what you need and help us understand how we can help you.
I like it a lot.
Me
But
too.
how can we help them?
Okay.
Do they need to tell us what they need help with? Or
So
can they have to decide on the game in a way? Or maybe they tell us what the problem they want to resolve, and then we propose, oh, we have game A for you, or game B that we can play.
One of the biggest challenge in helping people, because I've been consulting for decades and I did consultative sales, the biggest problem is they don't know what they need. Just like we went through the process of figuring out what our vision is, most people haven't done that. So they're very murky. So one of the things about this games, it in a fun way gets them to clarify. They walk out of that with a much clearer picture of what they need. But the question that you normally can't ask people very well in these cases, in a lot of cases, is what do you need? What do you need, or how can we help you? You know, the way you typically do that is you ask questions about them. You know, it's kind of like Henry Ford said, if I'd asked people what they, well, he didn't, I don't think he actually said this, but he's most credited by saying, if I'd asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. And Steve Jobs early in his career said, you know, people don't know what you need. You can't ask them, you have to show them. That being said, if Henry Ford had asked people, he would have found out that they wanted things like, I hate that when I park, I have to, you know, take care of this horse. I can't just walk away. It's a big deal. I don't like the waste that horse is dropping. By the way, that was a huge problem. They had conferences to say, we can't solve it. We're going to be drowned in horse poop. And it was this huge problem that they figured out they wouldn't be able to solve. The only thing that solved it was cars replaced horses. They actually had no solution. But they would have figured out why, if I could go to more meetings faster, I'd get more work done. I hate, you know, hate the weather hitting me. And in fact, Henry Ford lost shares. He had the majority of the market for cars, but he lost it because he didn't ask them what they wanted. They wanted financing options. They wanted color choices. So, you know, you can't say, what do you need? You can say, what don't you like? What do you love? How do you solve the problems now? So there's various questions you can ask them to get people to tell you what they, you know, they can't really say so much. I want this product. They can say, here's what I don't like. Here's what I like. Here's how I wish my world was different. And then typically a marketer go, oh, so you're saying you want this product. And then you show it to them. And by the way, Steve Jobs later here says, no, you have to start with the customer. So he kind of reversed himself too. So I think it's up to us to come up with the art of pull. I'm just saying we shouldn't assume we're going to ask people what they want. They go, oh, here's what I want you to do for me. Can't assume that. We have to develop these games that in a fun way pull it out of people.
Yeah, so we can't ask them to name a solution, but we can name a problem.
Yeah, you could ask, what do you hate about your life? What are your biggest challenges? Like when I came up with our sales scripts that change from having less than 6% conversion rate on booking appointments to over 96% conversion rate. I just talked to our potential customers for 2 weeks. I got appointments with them for 15 minutes. And I just said, if you had 15 minutes with the world expert on building efficiency, what would you ask them? Oh, I'd ask them this. So that was a question I've used in lots of different ways. If you had this much time with a world expert, what would you ask? Well, I hate this and I love that, you know, and you just listen to what they say. And then you have to get a group of people to say, and then you have to move that into common buckets. So what you're really saying is you hate these three things. And at most, like 80% of the people, this is their big concern, you know, 10% that, or 15% 5. And so you kind of know what to focus on. So that used to be my task when I did these customer research, was figuring out what the buckets were and about what percentage of effort. Because, you know, if there's these 3 buckets and one of them is 90% people care about this, and 6%, you know, 4, then you know that, oh yeah, let's just worry about that one. But if it's like 30, 30, 30, you know, 30, 30, something like that, and you go, oh yeah, all those important. And when I developed those scripts at work, there were 3 buckets, and I just addressed all those 3 buckets in 30 seconds. That's really all I did, was in a 30-second call said, hey, I know you're concerned about this. This is what we do. Would it be worth 50 minutes to get together and find out if you can help? And they're like, yeah, no, this sounds great. So there's lessons learned in trying to find out what people want. I mean, like when we ran the marketing, when I ran the marketing studio, people would come and say, "Yeah, I want you to help with my brand." The only problem is they couldn't tell you what a brand was or what they wanted. They just know, "I want you to help me with my brand." What do you think a brand is? I don't know. Well, what do you want the brand to do? I don't know, but I want one. I've heard they're
Uh, Thanks, Eric, for the lesson. Good points. I appreciate your enthusiasm too and your enjoyment. It makes me laugh. I was listening to some of the recent ones, the recent Eden Fractal videos too, talking, hearing you say some of this stuff about your experience in marketing, and it made me laugh a lot over the holiday break too. So I appreciate the joy and the education too. By the way, I started a Fractalgram group too, so everybody can join there, and then we could do consensus there whenever we're ready. And yeah, I'm curious. I don't know if Tadas or Rosary, you had any thoughts about Eric's points that you want to add on to or continue that discussion. Another thing I'm curious about too. So, I mean, Eric brought up a lot of great ideas there, and I think we should do that and follow through. Like, I'm interested to see, what would be the first step, basically. Like, for example, who would be the first people we'd invite? How would we design that and so forth? But also, to me, it seems like that's a little bit of a further along step. Like, I'd say, well, I mean, that's the next steps, but I'd also like to focus specifically on our next step as well. And I think probably that's a bit farther off. I think it's probably better to like establish our say mission first. Like, so I'm wondering, one, I'm happy to continue on Eric's train of thought because I think that's an excellent train of thought, and I want to explore that. But then secondly, I'm also curious too what everybody thinks about specifically what's the next step we should take. Like, what should we do between now and next week, and what should we discuss at next week? Should we invite people to next week and help solve people's problems, or should we do a respect game for the mission, or should we, or maybe Tadas will share his article? I'm curious about specifically the next step. Any thoughts?
I think we can use the same process as we used previously for next step, namely consortium topic. I think that's what we will use. It makes sense to use this from meeting to meeting until we are sure that we have something better.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's the consensus that we arrived at back in like I think meeting 76 or something like that. And it's working out quite well. And yeah, I mean it's and that has all the benefits of voting with respect scores and everything like that. So and it works well. It's all on chain, so people can keep track of it in the future. I'm also curious if anybody had any thoughts about uh out in addition to making a proposal on there, if there's any like specific kind of proposal you'd like to see for next week, or what do you think would be the best proposal to make, like in terms of what game to play or what or who to invite or what would we would discuss. Also, I see everybody's in the group too, so if you want, we could just go ahead and start reaching consensus here. I'll put out the account prompt for this so everybody can start replying there.
For next week, I don't know. I could share my ideas from that article, or we could play a vision game. I mean, some game to figure out the mission.
Okay, well, of course, we don't need to decide now. I'm just asking to see if anyone wants to contribute to the discussion and make it help us decide while there's still a chance before the game's over. I would propose, well, I guess it depends on Tas's article for one thing, because that seems like a very interesting discussion to have. Or if Eric, you want to like work on any sort of um, I don't know, just it's like more so flesh out that idea of inviting people. I'd also be very interested to see that too, if you want to present it.
I'm interested to see what people think we did the tasks are that we do for a mission. That's what I'm most interested. Sure, there's a great ideas of things we do. I think if we kind of get a list of things and then start prioritizing them would be really cool.
So you think, by the way, the poll's up, so anybody can vote whenever they want. So you think that we should focus more on, or we should focus first on the tasks for our mission or defining our mission?
Well, it's the same thing. Your mission is we achieve this by doing what? What do you do to get these? You could host discussions. You could stand on your head. I mean, what are those things that we do? The vision is here's what we want to achieve. The mission is, well, what are the things that we do? What are our core things that we do? And it doesn't have to be overly specific. But if somebody says, well, how do you do those things? Oh, these are the tasks we have. Like Tadas develops tools. Is that something that's in our mission, is to develop or test tools? Or
one thing I can add to here too is I think it might be helpful to specify when we're talking about vision and mission. I think there is a difference between mission and mission statement. Similarly, there's a difference between vision and vision statement. Like we were kind of creating our vision, like this broad vision for the past, several months. But then we honed it down to one single vision statement, and that's like one sentence. And it doesn't need to be, there's more to the vision and we could elaborate on it. But similarly, I think we could also have a specific sentence or two or something like that for the mission, a mission
right.
statement.
Yeah.
So that might be worthy to do as well.
That's what I'm saying, is work on the mission statement. The reason is because those are the core things when we bring people in, and we want them to join us. This idea of clear where we're going and what we do, people feel uncomfortable unless they kind of have that rock solid that, oh yeah, I know. Like if they're right, somebody could start their own Eden Fractal because we've given them a blueprint that they know what to do. A lot of these missions and visions, people don't know what to do. Okay, we make the world a better place and take everybody to the next level. And you read that and you go, okay, that's good, but I don't really understand the outcome. We kind of fix that. And then the next thing is, okay, well, I don't really know what to do. There's an exercise that I did in my marketing classes, because you have to help people come up with their vision and mission statements. And I would have the students write these down, and then I would give them to the rest of the class. And then the person would come back in the room and say, okay, several months have passed. And then we would look at the difference between what they think people would be doing and what they said, well, no, this is actually what I would have done. Because there's always this disconnect between when you write stuff down and what people actually do, because it's not clear, it's ambiguous. Like if you say customer support is number one, that's part of our vision, and you go, okay, so that's our mission, is to make customers happy. And then they walk away and say, well, what did you do during the month to make customers happy? And you get this, oh no, that's not what I intended at all, because it's too ambiguous. Make customers happy, what does that mean? So I think the mission statement gives people an idea. It doesn't tell them go on this day and update your calendar and go to these meetings. It gives them a basic idea of, oh, if I didn't have this guidance, this is what we would do. And so I think the mission statement is important.
Thank you, Eric. Very interesting points. There is 10 minutes left, so I think that we should probably try to reach consensus so we can earn some respect. So far, I think just Eric hasn't voted in the level 6. Also, I haven't heard from Rosmari in a while too, so if you did want to share any thoughts, Rosmari, be happy to hear from you before we get into consensus, but otherwise we can go ahead and start reaching consensus.
The thoughts, the methods, as I shared earlier, I think, yeah, the first step is to decide on the methods, and then focus on our priorities. And from the discussion so far, I like the ideas about deciding on what we do next time, again, using Consortium, like Tadas said. And I really like the idea about focusing on defining our mission. And then I really like the idea, especially about inviting other groups and helping them. So these all sound really good to me.
All
in
right.
that order too.
Great. I like the summary and sounds good. I think we're all pretty aligned. So, but we're not yet aligned on consensus for the game today. So
Mhm.
we're aligned on our mission or on our next steps mostly. But right now, Eric has 2 votes, Das has 1 vote, and Rosemary has 1 vote. Would anybody like to switch their vote or explain their reasoning or advocate for any person? I had voted for Eric, and Rosemary voted for Eric. Das voted for Das, and Rose and Eric voted for Rosemary. If
I
Eric would
did
like,
like,
what's
I
up?
did like Tadas's too. So, but that only makes it 50-50. So that doesn't help a whole lot if you're close. I can,
Okay.
Well, if you wanted to switch over to yourself, Eric, I'd be fine with that. Or if you want to switch to Das, I was also thinking of voting for Das too, so I'd be happy to go either way.
all right, I will just there.
I switched to
Oh,
Okay. Okay, level 5. There we go.
Congrats.
Congrats. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I do. It's interesting playing this new game in this way, but it does add some excitement just playing a little game at the end. And yeah, I think it's got a lot of benefits.
oh,
All right, level 5 is up. Who helped decide our next step second most today?
yeah.
And Tadas is the champion.
Yay.
Da, 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 da. All right. And yeah, I'm very excited to see Tadas's article. He's been working on this throughout the week too, so I'm interested to see that. And votes are up for level 4. And Rosemary, we are tied right now.
Yeah.
Duking it out. Does anybody want to share their reasoning for who they think should be the level 4?
I just thought Rosemary did a great job of summarizing all of us. So,
I I think then I really liked a lot of it was like a story that you told, and I like the details there, and it made me think about the many possibilities we can do. So, whereas my answer was, both my answers were pretty, um, mm, I don't know, kind of, I can't even explain them. So, yes.
All right. Well, thanks for the explanation. I did like your answer, Justin. I think I'll switch my vote for myself
thanks.
because I think that I also contribute the next steps by making this game too, as well as
Mm.
doing that. So I think that's a contribution, and I did really like Rosemary's summary at the end. But I'm happy to switch for myself, and Rosemary didn't seem so confident about hers at the end anyway. So I think that's a nice way to do
Yeah, I'm not upset with that at all either.
it. All right. And I get level 4. Woohoo! All right. And then level 3 happens automatically. So I think it's check consensus results now
Yes.
Yeah.
in group number 1. And then I suppose I don't remember it with the EO software. Do we need to can we do 4 or do we need to I should probably know that better than anybody else, but I don't remember if we can submit it with 4 or we need to put like Eden Fractal 1 or something as level 2. Oh, also we didn't pick a delegate too.
I think we need to put in something.
Yeah, okay. We could just put an Eden Fractal 1 there. And then as for delegate, uh, by the way, I don't know if this is updated to DOS. We did elect a delegate. It says we have 56 councils. I'm looking at the the spreadsheet now, and we did reach consensus. There was just the three of us last week, me, Eric, and Rosmari, and we reached consensus on the delegate. We forgot to do it at the end of the meeting, so me and Rosmari just voted for ourselves, and we messaged Eric. So I guess that's Council 57. I don't know when the last time you updated this was, but if you check on chain, there's some votes for that.
Yeah, I will have to update it. It's a few weeks that it hasn't been updated, so
Okay.
I won't be able to update it now. So I don't know. I don't think we will be using it soon, so I don't think it matters that much who gets the delegate. We simply need to fill in that entries so the transaction goes through.
Okay. Well, as far as I could see, the last two people who were elected delegates is me and Rosemarie, and then Tadas and Eric were 3 or 4 weeks ago as of then. So I guess both years expired. So I'd suggest if Tadas or Eric wants to be a delegate, I'm a delegate recently, or if Rosemarie wants to be delegate again, then that's fine with me too. Although I guess I have to put the poll up again though, to make it go through.
I can be a delegate.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Das. There we go.
Yay!
That's 7 up. Okay, let me put the poll up again, so we can have it automatically go. Okay, I vote for Tadas. Everybody votes for Tadas. Tadas is the favorite pick for the delegate. If only all elections are so simple. Okay, now you can submit it. And I suppose we have a couple minutes left, but we can start to wrap it up. Lately, we've been going a little bit over the hour, and I suppose it's probably best, if anything, just to close it up a bit early in case anybody has a meeting afterwards or anything like that. It's probably a better practice. So if anybody has any final thoughts, then happy to hear it. I'm not in any rush to stop it right away, but happy to wrap it up in the next couple minutes. Thanks everybody for the great discussion about the next steps. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to the next step that we will take. We could wrap it up, or does anybody have any last thoughts they want to share, or any ideas in their mind?
What do you submit for level 2? Eden Fractal 1?
No, I just did Eden Fractal 1. Eden.fractal 1 isn't in account, so that won't work. And
I'm
Eden.fractal won't work either. You could do Eden Fractal 1 or Eden Fract test. I just did Eden Fractal 1 though.
I just pasted the link with pre-filled
Okay.
names.
Thank you.
One is Eden Fractist and the other one Eden Fractal 1.
Okay, sounds good. I'll do that one too then. Okay, I submitted. Well, I think we have a good plan going forward, or at least the start of a good plan. Looking forward to seeing your article, Tadas, and Eric. Looking forward to hearing more about thoughts and plans to invite people and help them solve their problems. Rosemarie, thanks so much for everything, as well as everybody. Thanks so much for everything. Does anybody have any last thoughts, or should we wrap it up here?
I have a question.
Okay.
Oh no, never mind. We're 4 out of 6 for submitting consensus on chain. So that's full consensus if everyone submits.
Yeah, but I'd say 3 out of 4 is good. So even if just 3 of us did it, that works well enough. Because those last
But
two
isn't
ones,
it 3 out of 6 in a way? Because
well, those last
my
two
question, I
ones,
suppose, was how would the code knows that the last 2 weren't real in a way, and because
yeah, the code doesn't know. But but I know because I'm the one who manually codes and does it. So the code will just show that, and then
You are the
me,
code.
I'm the code. So I'll go and I'll know.
Okay.
I am the code. I should have just
Don't
answered it dramatically
question
like that.
Dan.
What's that?
Don't question Dan.
Yeah, I'll make it work.
Okay.
It's like Dan is the law.
I am the something like that. Okay, cool. I don't know. I mean, I mentioned if we should wrap it up a couple times, but I don't want to rush it too. If we want to just stick around, we can go back to our 3-hour meetings if we want. Happy to do that, or we can stick around for a bit longer. I'm not in a rush. It's
4-hour meetings.
4 hour meetings. We can go for that. Yeah.
Break the record.
Here we go. We're gonna figure out our mission. We're gonna invite people. We're gonna do all that. I see Eric's waving, so I guess Eric's gotta go now. Eric is peacing
Me
out.
too.
Okay, cool. Well, I think that's a good time to wrap it up then. So thanks everybody so much for being here. Thanks everybody so much for watching. We'll be here every week, 16 UTC, Eden Fractal. Check out lou.mouse/Eden Fractal. Invite your friends. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks so much, and looking forward to our next steps in the future weeks. Thank you all.
Thank you.